So let us start now, guys. So very exciting news for all the 2024 batch students, because after recession and a lot of negative news about you can say offer letter cancellation. So there finally on campus hirings have started. Okay, a lot of companies are hiring through specific colleges, and Accenture has started its on campus hiring basically. So they have announced that they will hire 2024 batch students in a lot of campuses. So currently they have just announced and told the TPO that the drive would be probably in the month of August. Okay, so you will get your online test link and everything in the month of August. As of now, they have started with their registrations. So this particular session we are conducting basically to make sure that all those who are preparing for Accenture, they can prepare well, because we are going to share with you detailed pattern which was followed by Accenture last year. And even recently when Accenture conducted off-campus drives, the same pattern was followed. So probably there is a high chance that the same exam pattern will be followed this year for on-campus as well. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to check the pattern. We will also check what are the important topics for each and every section. Okay. Then we will check topic wise analysis. So analysis, it means like how many questions probably will be asked on each and every topic. So this particular analysis is done by talent battle team based on previous year questions of on and off campus Accenture examinations. Okay. Then we'll also do a detailed analysis of communication round. So Accenture, all of you might be knowing or not knowing, it conducts communication round after your online test. Okay, so that is a very important round. So I'm going to tell you what kind of questions are asked by Accenture in the communication round. And in general, we'll check how to prepare, and later on you can ask me if there are any questions. So the students who have joined now, I have not shared my video because there is a network issue at my end. So I'll keep just my audio on for this particular live session. Okay. So let's move ahead, guys. So you might be knowing Accenture hires for two roles. Okay. So one is the ASE, that is the 4.5 LPA, and then is SE, that is 6.5 LPA role. Okay. So there are two roles basically. So 4.5 LPA and 6.5 LPA. So there is one round that is a coding round which differentiates both of these roles. Okay. So if you want to get the higher package, then you have to crack the coding round of Accenture. So I'll talk in detail about it, but these are the two roles which are offered. Now, all the questions, guys, if you are asking, ask them at the end of this session, because I'll complete a lot of things. I'll tell you a lot of things, and then you can ask me questions. Now, this is the on-campus hiring, guys. Okay. So all the details regarding the registration link, the exam link, everything will be told to you by your college. But by my past experience, Accenture conducts a lot of off-campus drives as well. So even if currently Accenture has not announced drive at your college, probably there will be off-campus in the month of November, December, or January as well. Okay. Because even last year when there was recession period, even then Accenture had conducted a lot of off-campus drives. Okay. So let me move ahead. So this was the previous year pattern basically, and this is followed by Accenture for past 3 to 4 examinations on campus and off campus. Okay. So the first stage is basically the cognitive and technical assessment. So once you complete your registration, you will get an exam link, and in that exam will be of cognitive and technical assessment. Now, what happens is in this particular test, there will be two sections. One is the cognitive section, which consists of 50 questions, and second is the technical section, which consists of 40 questions. Okay. So in all, there are 6 sections, you can say. So the first is the English ability. That is, there are 17 questions. Critical reasoning and problem solving, 18 questions. Abstract reasoning, 15 questions. There is a section called common application and MS Office. So 12 questions are asked on that. Pseudocode, 18 questions. Network security and cloud, 10 questions. Now, till last year, Accenture is giving a combined timer of 90 minutes. So it means that you can jump between sections and utilize the time for each and every section. So there is no section-wise timer. But guys, there can be changes this year. So unless and until Accenture confirms the pattern for this year about like how will there be a sectional timer or not, we cannot confirm that. But till now, Accenture has been giving a overall timer of 90 minutes with these particular questions. So you can take a screenshot of this so that later on you can again refer to this particular pattern. Now, guys, those who crack this particular assessment, they go for the communication round. Okay. And those who crack the communication round, they basically go for the coding round. Okay. There have been cases that sometimes Accenture keeps the communication round as non-elimination round, but sometimes there have been cases where students reported that they have been eliminated in the communication round as well. Okay. So, guys, basically, if you check, there are 6 sections. The different sections, if you consider, are MS Office and network security and cloud, because of very few companies ask questions on MS Office. Okay. But there are companies who would ask you questions based on computer networks and cloud. So this particular section is a little bit different from the normal companies. So I hope you have taken the screenshot of this particular screen. Now let us move ahead to check out what topics are asked over here. Okay. Before that, if you check, there are some instructions which I have mentioned on the right. Cognitive and technical assessment result will be notified within 5 to 10 minutes post completion, and coding assessment will be starting. Okay. Now, section and subsection cutoff in our assessment are considered, but they are not told by Accenture. Okay. And coding round is mandatory post clearing cognitive and technical assessment. So if you clear the cognitive and technical assessment, then coding round is going to be mandatory for all of you. Okay. If you don't clear cognitive and technical assessment, then you will be directly eliminated. Okay. Now, this is the details of the communication round. Basically, there are 6 sections in the communication round. So one is reading. There are 8 questions. Listening and repeating, there are 16 questions. There are some question and answers with 24 questions. Sentence building and sentence jumble, there are 10 questions. Story retelling, there are 3 questions. And speaking, there are 2 questions. Now, don't get confused. I'm going to give you example of each and every question asked in communication assessment as well. So I'll show you what kind of questions are asked in communication assessment, so that you'll get an idea about what exactly happens over here. And then the last round is the interview round, in which you will be asking questions on your technical skills, communication skills. So general, technical, and HR interview. Okay. The communication assessment is generally for around 20 minutes. So I hope the pattern is clear to you. So this is the initial test, the coding test, and then the communication assessment. Okay. Let's move ahead. Now, these are some of the important topics and analysis for the section of critical reasoning and problem solving. So this particular section, which I mentioned, so this particular section, there are around 18 questions, and 18 questions are based on these particular topics. So data arrangement, nothing but seating arrangement problems. Okay. There are some flowchart related problems. Data sufficiency, there are around 1 to 2 questions. Argument and assumption, 2 to 3 questions. Syllogisms, 2 to 3 questions. And statement conclusion, 2 to 3 questions. So if you check the overall analysis, data arrangement or seating arrangement is the most important topic in this particular section, because 7 to 8 questions will be coming from data arrangements. Okay. Later on, I will also show you where you can find this sample questions, so that you will get an idea about what are data arrangement questions, or what are flowchart questions, what are data sufficiency questions. Okay. If you have not heard these topics before, if this is new for you, I will share some resources on Talent Battle, which will give you an idea about what kind of questions are there. So we have already created some videos also on YouTube, which will give you an idea. So at the end of the session, I will share you that particular details as well. Okay. Now, for now, you can take the screenshot of this, so that while you are preparing, you understand which topics are important and where you need to focus on. Okay. Now, next is the abstract reasoning. Okay. In that, you will be getting questions on number and letter series. There are 3 to 4 questions. Odd man out, there are around 2 to 3 questions. Analogies, 2 to 3 questions. Coding, decoding, 3 to 4 questions. And visual reasoning, 4 to 5 questions. So there are a lot of questions based on visual reasoning. Okay. So what kind of questions? Again, I will share you later on some of the sample questions as well. Okay. So you can take a screenshot of this. Those who are asking me about how to apply for Accenture, currently Accenture has announced on-campus drive, guys. Okay. So all the registrations will happen through your college. Okay. If Accenture is not visiting your college, later on you need to apply for off-campus once it is launched. Let me move ahead now. This is the English ability section. You'll be getting questions on synonyms and antonyms, 3 to 4. There will be questions based on sentence correction or error detection, around 3 to 4 questions. Para jumbles, there will be 2 questions. Reading comprehension, 3 questions. Sentence completion and filling the blanks, there will be 2 to 3 questions. And sentence improvement. So there will be a sentence given and you have to improve by changing its grammar and formation. So there will be 2 to 3 questions on this. I'm going to share the examples of all these types where you can find the examples of these particular questions. For now, you can take again the screenshot of this particular analysis as well. So let me just move ahead. Balaji off campus is generally launched in the month of December or January. Okay, even there was one off campus in the month of April and May also for your 2023 batch or 2022 batch as well. Okay, so for now, on campus is launched and off campus will be launched later on. Okay. English ability, see, these are the type of questions which are asked, but mainly the skills or the grammar rules which you need to know are for prepositions, tenses, and articles. So these 3 topics are very important when it comes to solving questions of English ability. Okay. Next. Now, you might be knowing like what kind of questions will come from common application and MS Office. So you'll get questions on MS Office like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, these common questions. Then browsers, basic working fundamentals, some shortcut keys, command in command prompts, okay, working flow of keys. So once you go through the examples which I give you, you will understand what kind of questions, but these are majorly the topics which come on common application and MS Office section. Okay. Next, network security. So you'll get questions based on networking, basics of networking, network security, encryption standards and algorithms, network security devices, attack types, firewalls, security devices. So these are some of the important topics for network security. And then these are some of the important topics for cloud, like basics of cloud computing, client server architecture, cloud data centers, cloud service providers, and platforms. Okay, so there will be some basic questions on cloud as well. Now, pseudocode. For the pseudocode section, you need to be good with your programming fundamentals, like basics of programming. It can be in any language because pseudocode is basically doesn't follow any syntax. Basically, it follows mainly the logic. Okay. So if you're good with your programming fundamentals, looping, arrays, recursion, function, bitwise operators, increment and decrement operators, conditional statements, and some basic data structures. Sometimes there are some questions on basic data structures as well. So if you're good with that, then you will be able to easily crack pseudocode section. As I had mentioned, guys, you always remember this particular point. There will be section and subsection cutoff in the assessment. So it cannot be like you perform very well in 4 sections, but you lose out on pseudocode. So there will be subsection cutoff. Only thing is that that sectional cutoff is not anywhere mentioned by Accenture. So you have to perform well in all the sections. Okay. So pseudocode topics, if you have not taken screenshot, then you can take it. Okay. For coding round, there are around 2 questions and 45 minutes are given. Let me just confirm it. Last time, yeah, so there are 2 questions and 45 minutes are given to you to solve. You can use C, C++, .NET, Java or Python, and mainly the questions are basics of programming languages, input output concepts, flow control, array, function, strings, data types, operators. So later on, I will also share you some of the videos which we have created for sample to give you an idea about what are the level and what are the types of coding question asked. Okay. So these, I hope those who have joined can again watch this session from start. Okay. Currently, we have discussed about the pattern and the important topics and analysis for all the 6 sections. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about the communication round. Okay. So what happens is in communication round, the first type of question is reading and there are 8 questions. Okay. So what are these 8 questions? 8 sentences will be given on the screen and we have to read each sentence when prompted by the system. The system will tell you basically. So this is the interface, guys. So reading, there will be 8 sentences given to you. And whenever the system is going to tell you to read, you have to read these sentences aloud. Okay. I hope you have understood this particular type of question in communication round. Next, repeat. There will be 16 questions. So you need to repeat each sentence that you hear. Okay. And the sentences are not very long. So some sentences were like, he can fix anything. How about some coffee this morning? So there are short sentences which the system will play, and then you have to hear and repeat what you have heard. Okay. So this is the second type of question asked in communication round. Then there are Q&A type of questions. So there are 24 questions. You have to give simple answers to the question. So what kind of questions are asked? They are like very easy questions. So examples are, what electric appliance is used to keep the food cold? So you have to answer that. Okay. So simple answer. To find out if it's noon, do you check a calendar or a clock? So you have to answer that. So simple question, general knowledge is asked. Basically, common sense questions are asked, and that you have to answer. Okay. Next, sentence builds. There are some 10 questions in it. You have to listen to the word groups and then rearrange those word groups to speak a correct sentence. Okay. So for example, what will happen? They will give you some word groups. Okay. So they will say laughing, somebody, started. So basically you are going to hear the audio of these three words. Now you have to rearrange and write the correct or speak the correct sentence. So how you can say this, laughing, somebody started. So somebody started laughing. So you have to say that and record. Okay. His friends, his new car admired. So basically these three phrases will be spoken by the system. Now you have to rearrange and you have to speak, his friends admired his new car. So you have to rearrange the phrases and then you have to speak it in the system basically. Okay, so these kind are sentence builds. Then story retelling, three questions. So you will hear three brief stories. Okay, each story will be spoken once followed by a beep. So there will be a story which will be, you will be hearing from the system and there will be a beep. Once you hear the beep, you have 30 seconds to retell the story as you can. So you have to hear the story and again tell it to the system. Try to include the situation, characters, actions, and ending. At the end of 30 seconds, you will hear another beep. So the three questions you have to basically do it in this way. So story retelling, there are three questions. Okay. Next. There are some open-ended questions, two questions. So you will hear two questions about your family or personal choices. Each question will be spoken twice by the machine followed by a beep. When you hear the beep, you will get 40 seconds to answer the question. So you will hear another beep at the end of 40 seconds. Okay. So these are open-ended questions. There is no correct or wrong thing. So they are just checking your communication skills and your thought process. So examples are like, some people think that weekends should be spent resting and relaxing, and some people think weekends can be used to do extra work. How do you like to spend your weekend? So you have to answer, basically, you have to give your particular opinion and answer this particular question.